G'day, ZiggyD here, back with some more Grim Dawn. In this video I want to go over the itemization system in a bit of detail for you guys so you can see, what the level of complexity we're looking at here and just how interesting it is. And then I'll also go over the crafting system as that strongly ties into that. So I'll start off with the basics of what type of gear you can actually get and how you equip it and basically that sort of stuff. So to begin with, you just have the essential, action RPG slots. You have your pants, your boots, your gloves, your shoulders, your chest. They don't skimp on the pants or they don't skimp on the shoulders or anything like that. And you got your normal rings and amulets and accessories like that. You also have your offhand slots, so you can equip, a melee weapon and a shield in one slot and a ranged weapon in another slot, or you can just have two different ranged weapons or whatever weapon setup you want in those. Pretty, standard for D2 style, Path of Exile. A lot of different action RPGs feature that sort of system. So next up, I just want to talk about the actual stats that can roll on gear. So you have your basic white items. So if we go into this shop over here, we can see, there's this white tarnished cleaver here. So that's that's your trash weapons. You just use those when you have to. But the next step up from that is yellow, which is kind of your magic items, I guess. That's your magic tier, which they usually have 1 or 2 AK stats on them. So as you can see, my charged mallet there, just above the cracked lodestone, because that's actually to do with the crafting, is 1 to 10 lightning damage, and that's the stat that's rolled on that. I've also got some yellow chest piece here, which gives me extra spirit, so which is your basically your mana, but it also gives me 1+ to cadence, which is one of my skills. So in addition to your basic stats given on gear, defensive, offensive bonuses, extra damage, extra defense, extra main stats, extra secondary stats, you can also get bonus skills. Now so cadence is a soldier skill, and I'm a soldier, so that gives me an extra level in cadence, a skill that I already have. However, going even further than that, which is something I'm very impressed with, is this particular item here. Now these blue items seem to be tied to skills, so this is a Berserker's Cowl, which has some nice stats on it. Extra physical damage, which is huge, extra bleeding damage, and a fair bit of extra cunning, which is actually quite good as well, since that's chance to hit and chance to critical. However, Berserk is a skill that's not actually tied to any of the characters in the game. So Berserk is just an item-based skill that I can get specifically from this item. Now that's pretty exciting because it means that you can create builds based around certain skills that you can't get in your normal build. So if we actually go down to my toolbar here, you can see I've got Berserk granted by item, which increases my offensive abilities but decreases my defensive abilities. And it's actually a pretty nice buff. 30% extra attack speed is obviously a pretty big deal, at the cost of some defensive stats. So pretty interesting stuff on just that. However, there's also a lot of depth just in the basic stats as well. So in addition to like on this particular item here, which is green, which is the next tier after yellow, I have my 4% reduced physical resistance. I have extra physique and cunning, which are main stats, so there's 3 main stats there. Extra energy, which is a secondary stat, which is my mana. So I could get spirit, which gives me energy, or I could get actually energy just by itself. But then there's also this one here, like 20% chance of 22 reduced attack speed retaliation. So retaliation is essentially like thorns, but instead of just having basic thorn damage, or maybe even elemental damage like in some games, this also has other types of retaliation. Like this one, when enemies hit me, there's a 20% chance that they'll have their attack speed reduced by 22% for 5 seconds. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. There's some exciting stuff in this in this system. So in addition to all of your general stats that you have, and a lot of action RPGs cover the general stats well, and a lot of them also get into the secondary stats as well. But having those plus different types of retaliation plus skills plus lots of different things there's a huge amount of flexibility in what I've seen in the itemization system just in Act 1 normal, like of the alpha. So that's pretty exciting because as you get further in the game, usually as you get into later difficulties, there's usually more and more complex stats that you can play with, more variety that you can choose from, different types of legendaries, different types of skill items. Pretty exciting stuff. As you can tell, I'm probably raving about it a bit too much. So, as you go through the shop here, you can see your mixture of different melee weapons. All melee weapons seem to be one-handed, so one hand plus shield seems to be the go for melee. I haven't seen any two-handed yet. I might be wrong, but I'm not too sure about that one. So there's slow and fast melee one-handers, but that's interesting. I don't know if that's something they'll change or not. But you do have single-handed, so your pistols as ranged attacks, but you also have like crossbows and rifles and blunderbusses and things like that that are actually two-handed. So there is two-handed, one-handed ranged attacks there. In addition to that, you've got all your different types of armor and offhands, which are tomes for the caster classes, which gives them caster benefits like extra recharge speed on their abilities and things like that. And then plenty of different magical items which also tend to have a lot of interesting stats on them. Some of them are like bonuses to pets in addition to just bonuses to the actual player. So now I'll talk about the actual crafting system, because that adds an extra layer into it again. So basically, as you kill enemies and certain types of enemies, which is an important thing to note, you'll get certain types of these crafting components. So one of the particular enemies, they might have been like rats or something like that, drops these chipped claws, which when used in weapons, shields or offhands gives 2+ extra physical damage and 2% extra physical damage. Now as you can see at the top there, it says partial component, 1 of 5. What that means is if you put 5 of these into a weapon, it'll turn from just being, 5 times the stats listed on each one of those, which you'd expect, into getting an extra benefit as well. So I can actually show that for you guys here in action, because I've got 5 out of 6 cracked lodestones in this lightning charged mallet I have. Since this was a lightning mallet and I had a heap of cracked lodestones, thought it would be pretty fun to try and put a bit of extra lightning potential on that, extra lightning damage, and the 2 to 7 and then 10% increased lightning damage as well. So now let's go ahead and put this sixth one in here. That's difficult to say. And now not only do I get increased lightning damage, but I also get completed component set bonus, 10+ physical damage. That's pretty badass. So you get an extra benefit once you put all of those in there. So that's that's pretty powerful weapon. Now I'm pretty happy with that one. So let's check out another piece of gear. Maybe since this helmet's really badass, let's find something interesting to put into it from this helmet. So this is used in all armor, it gives fire resistance. Those are used in weapons. This is used in shields, rings, head and chest armor. This gives bonus main stats. What else have we got here? That's used in weapons. We've got this one here which gives bonus health, armor and armor absorption, lightning resistance, cold resistance, armor and pierce resistance. I think armor and pierced resistance might be very nice for me. So because I already have like a fairly high amount of armor, giving extra armor is going to help as well. It's going to synergize with other things. Can I use this in offhands, chest and shoulder? Okay, that actually can't be used in helmets. So as you can see, they have specific types of gear that they can be used in. So maybe we'll go with used in all armor. Maybe we'll go with the bristly fur, just to give us some nice extra health there. So we can use that in there, and we'll drop our second one in there, and hopefully once we have 3 more, we can sync those in, and we'll get an extra bonus as well, which I'm pretty keen to see what that is. So overall, a pretty exciting itemization system. As I said, very early in the alpha, in Act 1, there's already a lot of complexity that you can play around with, so that's pretty exciting stuff. Anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed this and have a better idea of the itemization system in Grim Dawn. That's it for now. I'm ZiggyD, and thanks for watching.